Hello, everyone, and welcome to what is a short lightning talk and really a walkthrough on the power of marketing and how specifically learning teams can create value and connection with their people. Now, the reason why I'm doing this talk is because one of the best investments for me that I have ever made in my career is in recognizing the power of marketing and building a brand in any role that you do. So whether that is in workplace learning, which I'm talking about, or not, I think it's really key for any career to understand how marketing and brand awareness can be used in your own world. So as I've alluded to, I'm going to be focusing on this from an L&D lens to share how leveling up your marketing know-how can be a real game changer for nurturing a culture of learning and connecting people with development opportunities that exist. Before we crack on a little bit, who is the human behind the voice, or who am I? So my name is Ross. I've been a people development specialist now for about 13 years. So I've been working with quite a few leading retail and tech brands, specifically in workplace learning, something I still do now. So I'm very much in the thick of the day-to-day of learning design and performance consulting from a organizational capability perspective. So all of the stuff that I'm talking about today is from my own experiences across my career. In my outside of my 9 to 5 life, you may call it, I am what I call the kind of head content creator, writer, and basically the person who does everything at my little side project called Still These Thoughts. And you can find out more about Still These Thoughts at stillthesethoughts.com. And if you like this video, obviously I would encourage you to subscribe to the channel and also to sign up for my weekly newsletter as well, where I share kind of thoughts of the week on the world of learning and personal development and share a number of created resources as well. But enough about me. Let's get back to the power of marketing and how you can use this too. Something I share often with people, because there is a popular phrase, if you haven't heard it, around if you build it, they will come. And that's something I actually disagree with, especially from a product perspective and from a learning product perspective. So I always say, if you build it, they won't come. And I say this because they won't come unless you understand how to market your product properly and also create a brand and create buzz around it. And for me, this is always the unfortunate downfall for not just a lot of learning teams, but teams that are creating products in general. From a learning perspective, some teams are spending months or years creating something. Hopefully you're not doing that, but some teams do that, and actually they're so invested in that solution and know why people are gonna love it and gonna get a lot from it. But actually what they don't do is engage their audience with the same kind of excitement and engagement and really get them kind of inspired in terms of why they should use this learning product that your team have been designing for so long. So most of the battle is not actually designing a solution, it's getting people to use the solution, and hopefully through your own kind of design element, you have been working to actually get data from your users to understand what they do want and build something around that, which should be the kind of first layer of getting people to engage with your content. But a big part of it is going to be that if you just build something and release it, people aren't just going to magically turn up. You get this thing, what I sometimes call the 6-week wonder, where people will use a tool or a new app for a little while, but then the kind of excitement slowly dies off. So what can we do about this to make sure that you don't have what I call a 6-week wonder, and actually you can build something where if you are releasing it, people will come in to use it and come in to use it often. So there's a couple of things that we can learn from the world of marketing. So it's to think in a campaign approach and not one-off events. This has been something that's been an incredible lesson for me to learn, and something that I have been using specifically in the last kind of 7-8 years of my career, is not looking at learning as a one-off event, whether that's through a digital means or a face-to-face intervention, and building campaigns around particular events or products. And there's a number of ways you can do this, and this works from a engagement standpoint and also embedding any solutions or products that you're working on. So the first thing is to build excitement around whatever it is you're launching, and you can do that through using collaboration tools like Slack and Microsoft Teams, or email as well, and even email if those combined together, where you can share kind of micro teasers around what is it you're working on, how is it going to help people, and what value will it create for people when it's actually released. You want to actively engage your people through campaigns. So you want to tell a story across months and years, not just a few days. People will always need to be reminded of what's available, why it's important, and how it creates value for them. Just building a learning solution, sending an email out to a bunch of people and never doing anything again after that kind of one-off event is not going to allow anyone to know what's available or to engage with it. So when you are building a product and launching it, think in terms of what is the story that you can tell over the course of the next few months and year to actually bring this kind of to front of mind of people, get them to be using this product and making the most from it. So you can use campaigns to inspire people. So a big part of how we're driven as humans, and I will talk a little bit about this later on as well, is looking at what other people are doing and how they're using some of the tools and hopefully progressing in their own career. So you can use campaigns as an inspiration piece as well, where you can share stories, again, through the use of Slack, Teams, or email, on how others are using the content and products that you have released. How is it creating value for them? And how could it create value for the people who are watching those videos? There is nothing stronger than the fear of missing out for us as humans. So if you can get these inspirational stories, capture them, and share them across these channels, that will do a lot in terms of endorsement and getting people to see the value of what it is that you're putting out there too. Now, something that I feel was completely underestimated, probably by a lot of people outside of the marketing realm, is something which is called workflows. And what I'm calling here is embracing the power of workflows. And in a nutshell, this is about automating an experience for people where you can build it and then forget about it. So you can do it once and not have to keep manually going out and sending different communications and chasing up people. So let me give you an example of that. So in my world, I would create workflows to automate my kind of campaigns and provide experiences for people, post a maybe event they've been to with a community of people, or when they've used a digital resource. So an example of that may be, let's say someone comes to a feedback community of practice along with a group of people in a business, and they're with 20 people. They come to a session for a couple of hours. You're not going to make them feedback gurus in that session. You're going to give them the opportunity to connect with other people, share ideas, take on a bit of knowledge and practice. However, to consistently develop that skill and embed it and get better at it, they will need a bigger experience than just that one-time event. And this is where workflows come in. So workflows are very beneficial in helping to cement that knowledge, provide the user with more knowledge, and get them to practice often as possible so they can really develop that skill. And that might look like they've come to the event, post the event a couple of weeks later. Let's say they get a message via Slack or email saying, hey, it's been 14 days since you attended this talk. What have you done since to put some of the learnings you took away into practice? You could do that through the form of a short survey, share some more resources there. Then let's say 8 weeks post that point of that communication, you could share some more resources and saying, hey, you came to our session 3 months ago. Don't forget, we've got all these great resources to help you continuously build your skills with feedback. And then let's say you could do another 2 communications leading up to the 6-month mark, where again, they're just nudging the user. They're just nudging them and saying, how are you doing? Is there anything else we can help you with? Have you seen these resources? Some new thinking here to help shape your skills. So again, it's using workflows to actually map out and say, what is the journey the user will have from either being on a one-time event or using a digital resource that then is triggered, And then what are the communications over the next 6 months to help that individual cement what they have learned. I want to talk a little bit about now communities and actually building communities, because the power of a community is, again, something that I feel is underestimated, and it's about looking outside emails to build engagement, spark inspiration, or build a following around the products and solutions that you're launching. Now, you can build communities that are really going to get excited about this product, and they can share it with other people as well, which is great because that's free marketing of you. And the way that you can do that, again, is look, you can use tools like Microsoft Teams and Slack to build communities around topics such as leadership development or feedback, coaching, or loads of topics where people are really interested in a specific topic. And it can even just be general learning, and you can get them into a community in a Teams or a Slack, and then you can talk about content that you're building, products that are going to be releasing soon, and really get people excited about that and bring them on that journey. And that community feel, just like anything, even in the social world, once you have community around that kind of content, people will start to pick up, and instead of pushing content to people and getting people to try and engage to it, hopefully what you will see over time is people organically engaging with those products and solutions and moving to more of a pull model where they're asking for more of that stuff and they're sharing it with people. So think outside of just sending emails to people all the time to make them aware of products and solutions. Build communities around some of these big topics and get that connection with people. I couldn't finish this talk unless I spoke a little bit about some keys to creating an engaging message that will capture people's attention and make them stay. So there's a couple of really simple things that you can do to achieve all of this. So one is to know your audience. So you want to tailor messages to your specific audience and segment them at targeted communities. So again, as I mentioned before, if you're talking about leadership content, you want the right stuff that people are going to be interested in for that audience. And much like if you're speaking to a tech team, the way you will communicate something to a tech team will be different to the way you might do it in a finance or a legal team. So it's really key to know your audience so you can tailor your messages correctly to engage people. And then secondly is all around keeping it simple. So don't use buzzwords. I think there's a great quote that I love that it says something like, use common words to say uncommon things. Now, sometimes people love to put loads of what seem like super intelligent words into communications to make them seem, I suppose, a little bit corporate for one, but also to make them feel a little bit more legit and professional. The problem is of that is it can be incredibly confusing for 90% of people to actually read an email without getting out a dictionary and having to look up every single word that's in there. So keep your communication simple. Get rid of the buzzwords. Make them accessible. Again, so visually, make them visually easy to look at. Don't be writing loads of text and throwing in loads of pictures in small font and making it really crammed. Make it accessible for people, and also make sure you're sending messages, not just an email, but you're also using tools, if you have them, like Slack and like Teams as well. They can be super powerful too. And obviously make it engaging, right? It's the name of the game. So don't talk like a robot. When you're writing an email, talk like a person. Don't talk like an automatic email that you might get from a company. Write like a real human. And when you're doing that, the great structure for me has always been, we are starting off, always think about the why first. Why will your people be interested in this communication you're going to share with them? And how can you actually share with them why they should be? And then focus on the what and how. So then tell them about what is it you want them to do and how they can do it, or what is it they can do and how they can do that as well. And then timing, again, very underestimated. Be careful, and when you send out communications, do it at times where you can attract people's attention when they haven't got so much demand on them. So an example may be closer to the end of the day, lunchtime, or early in the morning. You'll probably find it very difficult if you're sharing communications at 11 a.m. or 2 p.m. in the afternoon, because these are the times where people are really kind of focused on their own work and also in meetings too. So consider your timing. And then specifically for all of my friends in the L&D world, please drop the words of training and learners in your communications. Learners, in my opinion, is a really stupid terminology. Not all humans, learning is programmed into us. No one is a learner. You don't become a learner. You already are a learner. It is biologically programmed into you. So drop that word. It's not needed at all. And same with the word training. You know, my experience using the word training in any email or communication in general is the first thing that puts people off. If you tell people, please come and do my training, that's not engaging in any way. That's not going to get people excited, and that's not going to help your kind of brand awareness and really help market your stuff to people. So again, talk to people like they're human. Don't mention the word training. Talk to them about why your product or solution is really going to help them. And then you don't have to use that word at all. We don't have to go around and say feedback training or leadership training. It could be something like, hey, here's some great resources to improve your leadership capabilities. Blah, blah, blah. You know, very simple stuff. But key things for you to take away here: do not use the words training and learning. Finally, it is key to remember the role that emotions play in communications, but also in everything that we do. Now, as humans, our emotions drive our behaviors. So how we feel will fundamentally dictate what we're going to do with any communication that comes through. And what you see here is two questions that every human asks themselves when deciding to engage with content. And you can try this exercise yourself whilst probably engaging with this video that you've seen on YouTube or whatever social feed, and even think about it today when people are messaging you, you're looking at emails. What are the things that drive you to open that message? And these are two things that I have learned and have been shared with me as well through some individuals that I know in the neuroscience community who study this and kind of get all this data out, especially for people in education and learning. So a couple of things that drive us as people. So one, when we receive a communication, we think about, how will this make me look? So if we don't open that communication, how will it look if we're not in the know? The fear of missing out. If we don't know what's in there, how is that going to make me look at future meetings or in different interactions? Vice versa, if you do read something, how will it make you look if you do it and other people don't? So we think about that often. And then the big thing, the FOMO, the fear of missing out. What are other people doing? Humans, all of us, are obsessed with what other people are doing, and we'll generally follow crowds and follow those kind of patterns that come up with people. And we will often sit there and think about, oh, what are other people doing? Should I be doing this? Should I have completed this, piece of learning, for example? Should I be reading this article that's been shared by the L&D team? How should I be engaging? What are other people doing? If other people are doing it, I'm going to do it because I don't want to miss out. So you can see quite easily these two behavioral elements. If you have that in mind when you're creating communications, that can help you through the design process and look at, what do you want people to feel in terms of, if they absorb this content, is it going to help them? Is it going to create value? Is it going to be buzz at other people because they'll want to do it as well because it's really great? And then if you can create that kind of atmosphere around it to get people excited, more people will want to engage with what you're sharing because they will be worried about what other people are doing and not want to miss out. So that's everything that I had to share with you today. I hope that's been helpful. If you want links to any of the information that I have shared, or you want to connect with me on my social networks and ask questions, all of that information can be found in the description below. And in addition, if you did enjoy this video, please do give it a thumbs up because it does help the channel. It helps more people find my work if you have found it beneficial. So please do give it a thumbs up and share. And if you want to see more content like this, of course, I would encourage you to subscribe to this channel and also check out my website, which is in the description below too.